Good afternoon, dear participant friends. Today we have to discuss one of the very important units of psychology. And this unit will help you develop a holistic concept relating to human physiology, at the same time the reasons for the diversity of human behavior. And the title of this specific unit of psychology is Human Personality, Meaning, Concept and Definitions. The other parts have been left here. Simply the title has been placed as Human Personality. And by understanding human personality, we can understand ourselves in a better way. And by understanding the self of each of us, we can understand people of the whole world. And by understanding the self, as well as by understanding the people of the society, we can understand in a systematic way the reasons of variations in human behavior. And the study of human behavior is the prime concern of psychology. And this is the term which has, particularly the term behavior, is very important, and by understanding this term, we can understand everything else. So, let us come back to today's class. Friends, without proper understanding of human personality, we never can comprehend or develop a holistic concept about the reasons of causes of multiplicity of human behaviors or variations in human behaviors. In our daily life order or situations, we see diversities or differences of human behavior in different situations or diverse situations. We have well witnessed that the speeches on behaviors of the politicians differ according to the chance of political situations and the situations of the society. The behaviors of most of the social leaders also differ as per the chance situations of our society. Even our personal behavior differs as per the chance of our personal needs, time, and environment. So friends, we are living in this complex as well as diversified world order, and in us, different phenomena of the universe where we are living in have incessantly been influencing us. And considering the physiological needs or requirements, as well as considering the mental or psychological demands, we try to cope with diverse situations of our life by following or adopting diverse means. Here you see as an example or as examples the speeches of the politicians in different situations have been placed. At the same time, the behaviors, why we see the differences of behaviors in leaders who are playing different role in societies have also been placed here. And by understanding psychology, particularly by understanding social psychology, we can understand the behavioral patterns of varied groups of people living in the same society or in same social order. Let us go back to the next slide. The multiplicity or such multiplicity or differences which we have placed here as examples is witnessed not only in case of the behaviors of human organisms, but also in all other living beings and things of the universe. Witnessing all such differences, we always ask ourselves why socio-cultural, socio-political, socio-economic behaviors of men so frequently become different. Why we do not expose consistency in our behaviors. Why the same person becomes different even in domestic situation, in diverse environments, even within the family members. You see, within the day, we manifest many types of behavior towards ourselves, towards our family members, towards the place of our work, towards our own assignment, and towards different people of the society, because our life in this diverse or diverse complex social setting is very challenging, and time has always been changing. Under the change or changes of time, our needs and demands are changing. As life situation changes or life situations change, we become bound to change our attitude, and accordingly we manifest. We are compelled to manifest different behaviors for the satisfaction of our needs as per the change demand of time, so that we can very successfully exist in this complex natural universe or in social setting. And these are some of the questions which we can put ourselves, and by getting the answer, we can understand our own self. And by understanding ourselves, we can develop holistic concept concerning to our psychology, and by developing our proper concept of our psychological QC parameter, we can understand life so much well and can plan, scientifically for achieving success as per the set goals of our own life. And for this, we have to understand our personality and personality of different people of the society. Let us go back to the next slide. The answers of all such questions carry exceedingly important meaning for all those people when they are in upper hierarchy of management of domestic affairs, shouldering the responsibility of social organization, of honor, in administrative mechanisms, in economic settings, in political systems, and so on and so forth. As there is the lack of proper knowledge of human psychology in most of the common people, and others engage in all settings of socio-political life, problems of different nature and magnitude arise. Friends, when you are the leader of your family, and if in your family 5 or 6 members are there, then by observing the differences in behavior of the 5 persons of your own family in different situations of the day or different situations of life, you can put questions yourself why such differences occur. And being the administrative head of an institution, being the head of a nation, being the officer of an office, when you are to manage public behavior, at the same time when you are to manage the behavioral pattern of the employees under yourself, who are engaged or working under yourself, then without having proper knowledge of psychology, you never can become successful. Because by knowing about psychology in details and by understanding personality in detailed manner, you can very easily understand the reasons or the causes for the variations of behaviors, maybe expectations, maybe unwillingness to engage in works as per the set ethics or rules and regulations of the institute. Thenceforth, you can understand the natures or the behaviors of the political leaders, and you can understand the behavioral differences of different leaders in different social organizations. And accordingly, you can prepare yourself to face such type of diverse people very successfully with the help of proper concept concerning to psychology, social psychology maybe, or institutional psychology, or administrative psychology, or psychology of the employees, and by understanding personality in totality. Let us go back to the next slide. All disturbances in personal life, social life, administrative life settings, political settings, social forums, etc. are resulting because of adjustment problems, and such issues have close link with human personality. Friends, the mechanism of adjustment and the process of adjustment is a very psychologically important process. And by understanding the process of adjustment in proper manner, and by knowing about the mechanisms of adjustment, you can manage your position in proper manner. And for doing so, we are to understand, or you are to understand, the concept of personality in totality. Therefore, without understanding the nature of human personality, we never can settle diverse problems judiciously and conflicting situations resolved. Considering all these, it has been intended to make detailed discussions on human personality today, so that you can get the chance to find out the means of settlement of life-related problems in systematic and scientific manner. Friends, you see, I insist to repeat the great saying of the 35th President of the United States of America, Honorable J.F. Kennedy. Kennedy said, "The time in the world will not stand still, and life is bound to change as per the chance demand of time. And it is the prime concern of every human individual to learn all the techniques so that we can become successful in adjusting dynamically changing life situations by satisfying all the demands of our physiology, at the same time our psychic order. And for doing this, we must have to have the holistic concept of personality. And this is the reason for which this sector or the discussions which I have started today, all these discussions will help you much so that you can tackle your problems, maybe your personal problem, family problems, and your problems in the assignment or office where you are working in with different or varied people with varied attitude or diverse attitude and behaviors. Let us go back to the next slide. When we say as human personality, we do not perceive the term partially because of the lack of proper knowledge of psychology. I'm sorry. When we say as human personality, we do perceive, means we perceive the term partially, not holistically, because of the lack of proper knowledge of psychology. So friends, as we do not have any proper knowledge of psychology, we consider partially or try to perceive human personality partially, not in totality. Basically, personality is a comprehensive term. It's a holistic term, and hence it is to be understood in totality as a whole. Personality is this way defined as the characteristic set of behaviors, cognitions, the power and the ways of cognitions, and the emotional patterns of the human organism that evolve from biological and environmental factors. While there is no generally agreed upon definition of personality, most of the theories focus on motivation and psychological interactions with one's environment. Friends, our personality is not only the product of the influence of genetic history on our physiology, but our personality is constituted or constructed with the influence of all the genetic elements or all the elements transmitted by the genetic history, at the same time the influence of the environment where we are living in. So friends, when we are to discuss our behavior by studying psychology, we come to know that so far the psychophysical means the psychic, means the mental and physiological capabilities and qualities and features are concerned, the hereditary influence on us or the genetic influence on us has special significance. And so far, our socio-political behavior, our institutional behavior, our economic behavior, our cultural behavior, our academic behavior are concerned. These are set or these are determined by the influence of the environment where we are living in. And that's why, for understanding personality, we have to understand it as a whole in totality. And for doing so, we must have to understand the history of genes or hereditary history, which is the prime concern of study of psychology. At the same time, we have to understand the influence of the environment on us where we are living in. Let us go back to the next slide. It is a whole concept, means personality is a whole concept, total concept, holistic concept. And it includes not only the biological entities or genetic capabilities or qualities of the human organism, but also the socio-cultural issues and the elements. It is this way, the product of both the hereditary elements we possess, with the influence of the biological history and the influence of the environment we live in. All our mental or psychic capabilities or qualities or capacities and the physical features or the physiological features are biologically transferred from one generation to the next one. Very simply, these are the products of the heredity or the genetic influence. On the other hand, all our behavioral patterns are the products of the environment. And that's why when we analyze, you see, the conflicts which we notice or witness in society because of differences of spirit and principles as well as ideologies, maybe religious ideologies or doctrines, maybe cultural concepts, maybe political doctrines or ideologies. These differences are because of or conflicts are resulted because of varied, because of the influence of varied environment. And for this reason, for understanding ourselves, means understanding ourselves We are to understand personality in totality, and by understanding personality, we can very easily understand human behavior, and by understanding human behavior, so much well we can understand the process of learning, and by understanding the process of learning, we can become so much successful in the process of teaching, particularly in the classroom situation. We can become so much successful in the management mechanism. We can become successful in social living. We can become successful in adjusting with people of varied or different religious ideologies. We can become successful in adjusting with people of different political ideologies and principles, etc., etc. Let us go back to the next slide. Let's see. This diagram. This is the reference. Hereditary genetics, gene expression is here. Individual personality, social environment, local environment, maturation, group personality. By studying or analyzing the diagram in your relaxed time, you will understand yourself. You see how your growth process or the process of formation of your personality is very systematic, and what factors are knowingly or unknowingly by yourself have been influencing on you or bearing influences on you. See this picture. These are the crossing marks. This is group personality. Group dynamics you are to know, because suppose you are the group leader, and once a personal demand of a group member is being disturbed, as a whole you go to your concerned authority, being united, and for facing the united behavior as a head of an institution or establishment. Your mechanism should be, you see, according to the behavior of the group. And for understanding the psychic order of the group, you are to understand psychology so much well. Means by understanding personality, you can very easily tackle whatever may be the gravity of the problem you are facing in, maybe in your personal life, maybe in other areas of your life, maybe in economic area, cultural area, religious area, political area, or social area. Let us go back to the next slide. This is environmental influence. Because of the changing environment, everything has been changing. See this picture and try to understand how environment has been, you see, bearing impact on you. And because of the change or changes in nature, because of diverse, you see, looting by yourself, or because of the increased pressure from your side over the properties of nature, nature has been changing. And the change nature of nature has always been influencing or bearing influence on your personality growth process, and because of this you are compelled to, or you become compelled to manifest various types of behavior in your life situations. You may understand or by understanding, or maybe sometimes without having proper understanding from your own side. Let us go back to the next slide. So friends, this is the picture. On the spot, there is a simple technical problem. So we have to say, without means the factors or the diagrams which have been shown to you, means particularly the diagram where you can understand by analyzing, you can understand about, you see, the influence of genetic factors on you. At the same time, the influence of the environmental segments on you. You can very easily, if you become much sincere, understand your own personality. And once you become successful in understanding your personality, you can courageously face your life or all situations of your life. This is the reason the same individual in different life situations behave differently, and we do not notice any fixed pattern. There is every possibility of becoming our behaviors diverse as per the change of time and needs of life. A person in multiple life situations behave differently as per the influence of his or her inner compel, that is the psychological, that is in psychological term, needs and impact of the environment, that is his, her motivations. The approaches of a person in dealing with persons and situations also become different because of the diverse forces of the inner part, the physiology. This should be physiology. Physiology, which in psychological term is defined as drives. This should be physiology, which in psychological terms is defined as drives. So we are to understand drives, we are to understand the concept of needs, we are to understand the concept of motives for understanding our own personality, and it's a very extensive area. And if we become successful in understanding the holistic concept of personality, we can tackle our life, whatever may be the situation, successfully we can overcome. Let us go back to the next slide. Thus, means this way, with the process of manifestations of our behaviors, three special elements, that is needs, drives and the motives, bear all influences. The needs are the psychological as well as physical requirements or necessities of our personality. Motives are the causes or reasons of our actions, that is, in understandable way, the reasons for the manifestations of our behaviors, and the drives are the driving forces of our body, for which we become able to reach to our goal as per the needs and motivations. So friends, needs are the psychological, maybe psychological requirements, or maybe physiological requirements, or maybe both. Drives are the driving forces of the body, means the drives work just like the petrol, fuel of the body, to move it, to help it move or become active in different situations. And motives are the causes or reasons for different actions. So why actions take place in society? For knowing that, you are to understand motives. And the motivation or the motives of a thief, the motives of a robber, the motives of an academic person, the motives of politicians, the motive of cultural activists, the motive of, literary activists, we see differences because of different psychological setting or because of different personality form. Let us go back to the next slide. Thus, we are involving in different actions differently in our day-to-day life situations. We are in a sense very complex animals, as we never expose a fixed pattern in manifestation of our inner energy in the form of behaviors. Means we expose our behaviors, and the exposition of our behaviors basically help us to understand the inner potentialities of ourselves. Means by knowing or by understanding the behavioral exposition of a particular person, you can understand the internal energy, means the chemistry of his or her physiology so much well, covering the psychophysical potentialities and the reactions resulted because of the demand and the impact of such potentialities will constitute our personalities. This way, for understanding the behaviors of man, we are bound to study human psychology in detailed manner, and by studying psychology or for doing this, personality study or the study of personality is one of the most important areas of study, and this is the foundation or the basis of our discussion concerning to the unit personality concept, definitions, scope, as well as theories for the explanation of various types of personality. So friends, this much for today. In next class, this is the basic explanations of this total sector, means personality, and after this we have to go back or we have to enter into the whole chapter so that by understanding personality, we can understand ourselves, our potentialities. At the same time, we can become successful in facing various life, diversities courageously and become successful in living life. These things are academically important because in psychology paper, here is a chapter by name personality, concept, definition, scope, etc., etc. And for other people too, you are to study personality. By doing so, you can understand or manage all problems of your life successfully. Thank you so much.